What is going on, guys? Welcome back. Commentary for you. Want to thank my sponsor, Steel Supplements. Link and discount code down in the description. You also know I'm a Webull preferred influencer. Best promotion in the pinned comment. All you have to do is go click the link, open an account. They're going to give you free stock. Deposit a single dollar. They are going to give you more free stock. I also want to recommend you go take a look at Kirk the Gamer's channel. I used some of his footage here regarding this game. And to me, this is a really interesting proposition. Now, I understand that some of you may not like this game, okay? But if you were back in the early 2000s, you had the NFL Street Series, you had the 7-on-7 type of gameplay NBA Jam-esque would provide, that is what this is. Power-ups, rule-breaking abilities, kind of what EA wanted to do in the yard, but in my opinion, EA focused too much on monetization of the apparel in the yard for it to get to this point. Now, this game does have actual NFL players. In fact, it features Colin Kaepernick, Pat Mahomes, among others. So, to me, that's where the allure of a game like this can come in. And when I look at a game like this and I say to myself, you know, this isn't for everyone, just like the competitor I would see in this, Mutant League Football, which has done incredible things, while, by the way, being designed in a war zone. Those are games that don't appeal to everyone, but what I really think about when looking at these games and seeing what they can do is, where would the sim football community be if we had competition in the marketplace the same way these games do? Because clearly you get a game here strictly arcade football, right? But we have a variety of options for arcade football. If you want to really get down to brass tacks, wouldn't EA Sports qualify to a degree as a competitor with this product when it's arcade football? If you wanted to have this experience of just over-the-top cartoon-esque players, you would have the capacity to download a game like this, download a game like The Yard, perhaps, if EA would allow that. And I think, honestly, that should be where the NFL starts to put its attention. If Madden can stand on its own, then let Madden stand on its own. I don't understand why we have to have a $60, $80 football game when if the games were built with enough quality, passion, and care, they could financially support themselves independently. Because what we're seeing is, in an issue like this, another company comes in with far less resources than EA Sports has, and somehow finds a way to make a product that, at least at face value, appears to be more competitive than what EA has in terms of replicating football. In this case, it just happens to be arcade football. So, if you think about it within that context, if you want to have a card game, if you want to have, you know, a team-building game, sell Madden Ultimate Team by itself for $20 and then still have all your microtransactions. If you want to sell The Yard, if you want to sell 3-on-3, if you want to sell any of those varieties that Madden has right now of 3-on-3, 4-on-4 multiplayer football, then sell that as a standalone arcade game. Sell your franchise as a standalone franchise game. And then obviously, I think you'd probably look at some game modes that wouldn't sell really well just based on the lack of quality we've seen with EA. You know, would you really be able to sell a Play Now version of the game, maybe referred to as, you know, NFL Game Day, where you were just simply playing that week's matchup, those teams, those historic games, and that's all you had? Rather than sit here and have a consumer pay full price for everything, when I think we all understand, if you look at EA's track record, go back to Long Shot, these are game modes that are just simply not played. EA has a tendency to tell us what we want in a game rather than let us tell them. And then they create their vision and try to sell it to us as what we should want. And that is not served very well when it comes to EA Sports. And I feel like if they took that different approach of, rather than that one $60 game, those three $20 games, you're going to have, one, a better experience for everyone, because gamers are going to buy the game they want to spend the most time with and the game they care the most about, which means from a microtransaction point, I'm going to be more apt to spend, because if my budget before was 60, well, guess what? Now I've only spent 20. I might be more willing to spend that extra $40 because I've been so accustomed to spending that on an NFL football experience on my gaming console. So to me, that would allow them to really not only have the consumer possibly put in more money, more income, have the consumer specify to them exactly what they want in a game, but also show them two really important things. Number one, focused response from the community. Your arcade gamers are giving vastly different feedback than your franchise gamers, are giving vastly different feedback than your Madden Ultimate Team gamers. I think that for the longest time has been kind of the undertone of the community, as we felt that only the Madden Ultimate Team gamers are being listened to. Well, if you break the game up, now all of a sudden you don't have those same concerns, because by default you have those communities reaching out independently to those game devs, to the people that are working on their product, and focusing specifically on that product to make it the best they can for that community. They're not having to filter through layers and layers and layers of feedback and trying to say, okay, is this designed for a MUT gamer? Is this designed for the yard gamer? Is this designed for a franchise gamer? And how do we implement it? But most importantly, EA would finally have the actual people numerically that want to play certain aspects of a game. And to that point, I think we would probably see Madden Ultimate Team, as much as I hate to say it, pull away, far away from the rest of what Madden has to offer. And I don't think that's indicative that the communities don't want a simulation football game. I think that's indicative that EA has really pushed so much of the franchise gamer away. The experience has been ruined, and they've looked for other options to fulfill their need for not only simulation, but franchise football. And maybe EA doesn't want to confront that aspect of things. But when I look at games like this, I see trailers like this, but most importantly, I see people say, who would want to play this? Why would I want this? This game looks awful. The reality is that's just to you. It looks awful. There's a whole group of community that yearns for a remake of NFL Street, that wants an over-the-top arcade football game, and what we're seeing here is the reality of what can happen when that's allowed to take place. What we should be asking is, if this can happen for one genre of games, should it not be happening for all genres of games? And if that happens, that is where we get true competition back in the marketplace, we get true improvement from games, or, quite frankly, we have what happened before. Games simply cease to exist when they're not competitive within that marketplace, and you have NBA Live-esque situations where EA in the past has just thrown up their hands and said, listen, we can't compete with this product, we need time off to reevaluate, or in some cases, we just won't bring this game back any further. Love to know your thoughts on this. Appreciate you watching it. When you have football games coming out just about every single day in all different genres, there is no way I will not be back in the week with more commentary.